This is the side of operations people don't see. It's not just about the end result. It's early mornings, late nights, tough conversations, and decisions that don't have easy answers. It's what it actually takes to build something that lasts. Hosted by Coach Kent and Amy, this is where behind-the-scenes operations meets practical ownership, where we talk about the systems, the standards, the mistakes, and the lessons behind being entrepreneurs. No fluff, no highlight reel, just the work behind the work. This is Iron Ops.
Hello and welcome back to Iron Operations. I'm Amy Tipper, and in today's episode, my co-host Kent Aitchison and I are pulling back the curtain on what it actually takes to run high-energy events and build a thriving gym culture. We're breaking down Kent's insights on organizing CrossFit competitions, diving into everything from event design and the inevitable tech challenges to tactical youth engagement strategies. We're also getting into his innovative approach to youth and adult fitness programs. Kent shares how he prioritizes coaching quality to create memorable experiences and deep community bonds, giving you practical tips to build a powerful gym culture of your own. It's all about the logistics, the standards, and the stuff nobody tells you about running a functional fitness business. Let's jump into the episode. Hello, and welcome back. Back to Iron Ops, the podcast.
What an intro.
New intro. I think it sounds pretty good.
It was Vin Diesel. We got him to record that. It was pretty good.
I know. Yeah, he paid the big bucks to bring him on. Yeah, we're excited. This has been a great project to keep working on, and I feel like we only have more things to talk about and discuss, and we've just barely cracked the seal on it. So I'm excited. But this week we're talking a little bit about some recap stuff. So recapping the Gauntlet that just happened. We're also talking a little bit about the Next Gen program and kind of how it's evolved from what we originally talked about. And then we've got another question for Kent. Pick his brain, see if he can fix another gym situation, which I'm sure he can. And that's what we're going to get into today. So how did the Gauntlet go? Was it higher energy? Did it compare to last year? Was it better, worse, good things, bad things? How was the erg shoot? All those things.
Are you sure we didn't talk about this last time?
The last time we sat down to record was when we summarized the Open and the Gauntlet was coming up.
About the upcoming Gauntlet. It was good.
I think so.
Registration was slightly down. I think it was Easter was like 3 weeks earlier than it was the last year.
Yes, you're right.
The proximity to spring break and then quarterfinals, I think and Easter can just be random with what families have planned. It wasn't like way smaller, just slightly smaller than the previous year. But it was good. The erg shoot was pretty cool. Similar to how I felt when I did it in California. I wasn't good at it. I was just intrigued by it on like doing the workout, just hilariously like, I'm missing, like this is way harder than the practice last night. So most people felt that. There's couple of teams that did really well, and I thought the workouts were pretty creative and fun. Like you're painting yourself into a programming corner with the Gauntlet format, 5 minutes, so you can't just do like a full like test every aspect of fitness, but that's not what it is. So I thought it did a good job on the workout design to make it just fun and flow and not just a death zone, which I've done in the past naively, which I just don't think is the optimal experience for local competitions, trying to crush everybody with high intensity, high volume CrossFit stuff. Not that I've ever gone that overboard. There's just some days, some workouts where I feel like maybe a rookie mistake is you feel like you have to justify the value of their registration by like kicking their ass, but you can just still like highlight their fitness without kicking their ass in every workout. Sometimes it's appropriate. Anyway, so I just think the way that things were balanced and flowed and utilized the floor space, which is a unique design, was good. And
yeah, I was going to ask, because last year you had like the middle one or the second one was that like cross the gym floor shuttle run. And then how much space did the erg shoot need from where people were standing
the footprint
to where?
Was unique. Like I pretty closely plan everything before I lock things in, but I don't like put all the tape down until the day of before. But so the erg shoot there wasn't like a specific distance we had to use or anything. It was just like a range, but ultimately it's a pretty big distance just because you're not going to have the chute right in front of you, and you have 2 lanes of it. And then I also had a handstand walk lane.
Wow, yeah.
For the competitive and competitive masters division. So those 2 things, like they take a decent amount of space. Mm-hmm. And I think a handstand walk is a really fun thing to include in a workout because it's like that skill that you do. It can you can do when you sign up for those higher levels. So it's a little bit of like some like jigsaw work on the day before to tape the lines to make sure, there's just certain logistics things. Like I didn't want to have any chance of anyone bumping the erg shoot targets. So that not only do they need their distance, they need the buffer from this thing beside them. And then when we're doing like, the barbell lifting, snatch, clean and jerk event, adding weight every other minute, whatever, that needs to be safe and have room for 2 people doing it at the same time. So, and then the footprints there's a design to it, but it all worked out. And the only thing, like I always make notes after my events and, just because when it's fresh, right? So I usually just go home and like I scroll through all the social tags and stuff just to kind of see, because I can't really do that then. And I'm just pulling them up here, and then I just kind of reflect and really
That's a
think
good
about
idea.
it. Well, because I'm like an extrovert and I love being around people, but it takes a lot out of me running those events. It's not just the day. That's probably why I had such a delayed stress reaction last weekend. You just get all like bottled up with a lot of thought. The Gauntlet's a pretty small event, and I know I can always do a great job, but it's the build up and the planning and like this has to work with this, and it goes
But then
well.
when it goes, everything has to be on time. That's the most stressful thing to me, is like there's no room for error. Like everybody has to be where they're supposed to be when that buzzer goes.
Yeah. I mean, if people are late for it, there's contingencies I have in my head on most scenarios on how you could still make the scoring. The one thing that when you use like technology, same thing if you use like a rower or bike or the screen, if those go in the middle of a workout, you have to be like, how do I make this fair? Because one cool thing I wanted to do at the Classic in 2024 was an erg race. So do you know the marathon row CrossFit Games workout that they did in like 2021 or 19?
Yes, the row,
18? I don't know. I don't have a good memory of that event because it's lame. They have all the rowers hooked up to like an erg race. The Concept 2 has a software that has like an overlay of like lanes and like little boats that move across. And I had done that. I had sampled it at a dry try, the thing that I ran, because this event that I had, or this workout I had planned for the finale event in 2024, it was like barbell movements. I forget the exact order. Run around the track in the field house thing we were in, go to the wall area, come back out, run around the track, and then barbell movements row number 2, then whatever, the 3 rounds of different movements, but the row was like 500 meters at a time or something. So I was going to have it set that it was just a pure rowing thing, but it would be like in chunks. So you knew where everyone was at. So if the race was close, and there was a lot of really close races, you could see on the screen, the big screen thing that I rent, I had it hooked up, was going to have it hooked up to the rowing erg racing that's all ported into my computer. And then so if people have like 100 meters left and they're closing in, they can see the paces and everything. So even if they're just sitting on a rower, you can see exactly where they are.
That's cool, yeah.
Because when you're designing workouts for like a race feel, like for the participant experience, if you're just sitting in a box doing an AMRAP of movement, it's hard to tell where anyone's at. Case in point,
right, like we talked about in that
open 26.3,
yeah.
But if there's different implements of like, okay, they're on the lunges now and they're on the handstand push-ups now, they're in it, depending how the list is ordered, you can see where they're at. So that workout had that inherently, and then I was going to spice it up with also the erg race. But in order to it made me nervous, even though I tested it out in a dry try, which is a lot more of a controlled setting, because there has to be Ethernet ports, like hardwired from the screen to screen to screen to screen to screen to screen to laptop. And I had tested it out a few times, like with like random people that I had come in just to do it in the gym, and then port the screen into the big screen. The issue was with the lane space, the Ethernet cords that I had, they only could be so long or else the connectivity was not optimal and might not work. And because the lane space, the Ethernet cords would be up a little bit, like not like taped down flush. And I didn't have any other way to gate where the barbells and rowers were in and out without potentially tripping on them. So that night I was like, I got cold feet. I'm like, I can't do it. But I didn't tell everyone it was happening. It was just like this like project I knew that had, no, I didn't say like, oh, we're doing an erg race. No one knows what it is anyways. I told a few people, and the people at testing knew I was trying it. They weren't as invested into it as I was, but it would have been cool. I just wasn't worth so you have to reset the software, make sure it's synced up with the timer and it resets to 0. And if it's just not reliable and you haven't trained somebody to handle it for you, you got to put out that fire.
That's fair. I feel like that's a
And
bit of
then you can
stress
still
to
just go
add.
off the rowers and just row, right? And so anyways, when you rely on technology, you're like, oh man, okay, if this goes wrong, how do you make this fair? So I was worried if like the guns weren't working or the batteries on the screen stopped working or something. You could still make everyone go through it in that division. So you could probably like, as long as like, if an intermediate and an intermediate masters, one gets a full fair shot at and one doesn't, it doesn't matter if they're not competing against each other. Let's say like any of the divisions that are affected, you push through everyone through to make sure the effort expended is the same. And then you'd be like, okay, I'm going to fix this. And then everyone has to come back. And then on a 5-minute clock, redo just the last event solo.
True.
And we're not taking your first score. This is the score you're going to take. Something like that.
Yeah, that would be fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, technology factors for sure, making sure everything runs smoothly. But I think you not only have done it for many years and even just working the bigger event at Classic, like I definitely would have confidence that you would figure out if something didn't go well. But yeah, you said you had some comments and some feedback or just things you wrote down.
Just my notes. So I was saying, I'm looking at them right now. I already have the next year's competition corner set up.
Nice.
2026 was good, but Easter was earlier than 2025. And
do you know the dates for Easter next year?
Yeah, they're even earlier. They're like more into March. When I started it, I did it on the Good Friday because a stat holiday, I don't have to worry about parking with other businesses being open. And I was kind of married to that, but I'm going to move it. I moved it to April 17th, so later in April, which I think also helps. Like, if anyone in the Lower Mainland wants to drive to Kamloops, even like our photographer was like, I want to come, but if there's snow in the Coke, I can't go because they don't have winter tires, a lot of them, right? It's like the bubble of the Lower Mainland is like, it's a different mentality. And then easier for people to drive. And speaking of that, this is one of Carly's theories, is that because it's not like a full-on like all-day competition or a 2-day competition, some people might think it's hard to justify driving all the way to Kamloops for one event, which I don't know, because if you do High Rocks, like 35-minute event, like High Rocks, like a 50-minute event once or whatever it is. And like I would fly to Toronto to swim 30 seconds, right? Or 20 seconds. Just depends how you view it though. So hopefully the later in time can fix that. The other thing I thought, and I need to sleep on this for at least a year, so whatever, maybe I could add like an additional event included in registration. So you like for fun. So the Gauntlet's the main competition. It runs from like 8 till 1 or something. Go have lunch, go away, come back at 6 p.m. and try to time it so like it's dark, so we can have like nighttime. I'll set up like a platform thing and do like a lift off. So you could do like a 1 RM clean attempt, like an Olympic lifting meet, and like just do prizes for like PR attempts and like have like the bang and music and like, okay, anyone doing 200 pounds? And then, and then you just go in like a list, like a high jump at like a track meet, just come through, blast it off. And just like, you can do surprises, but the main competition is the Gauntlet included optionally. If you want to stay, come for the Saturday night lift off or whatever, and go for a PR with some energy. I don't know. That
would be sweet. We partnered with another gym and did a little comp last year, but we did a sandbag ladder, and the guys started too light. I think they started at 120 maybe, and the top 2 guys ended at almost like 300 pounds or something crazy. So like they went up and like
it took forever
5 or 10. It took forever. Like we had to reset our 99-minute clock. Like it was forever, but it was exciting. Like, I mean, I think if they had made bigger jumps or started higher, it would have been shorter, but it was a super exciting event because that sandbag, like when you see somebody and like just how to pick it up, right? It's so awkward and then you get into the stand, whatever. But it was a really fun event for sure.
Yeah. Because you can say like if you're signed up, you have to get 3 weights to attempt. And that's it. And then like tell me, and then I'll make a list and go down and add a weight to the bar. Yeah. Because then you can stage it up. Like the video screen that I've had at the Classic, I've had one in the gym before, like the first year. It's smaller, so it doesn't cost as much, but I could like block it so it's like centered on where like the entryway by the stairs is. And then I could make it as part of the Gauntlet experience too, a little bit more like you walk out, because the walkouts are a fun part of the Gauntlet too. And then if I have the screen and all the names and stuff ahead of time, you could like edit some cool like graphics where it's like their name like splashes behind, take the photos, come out, and do the same thing for the lift off, like name, weight, attempt, flash it all up, some cool photos with that, and like all bright in the background. Because I did a little version of that for the open announcement. And the other thing I just inquired about on the weekend here was, because like the banner or the ribbon video screens like that wrap like the bowls at like hockey arenas and stuff.
Well, yeah.
You can get like relatively affordable small business style ones and just
Like that would go around the inside of your gym?
well, it doesn't need to be a loop, but it can be even like a strip. Like, like our wall ball lines, it could be
Totally.
like one like above that. And
Totally.
you could do like sponsors.
You could put up like if you were doing like a max lift or something like that, put up like their trying weight up on there or something like that, right? Like attempted weight and pass or fail or not pass or fail, but like good lift, bad lift or whatever.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
And then like I download like a DJ app that I use at the Trifecta. I told you about that when I like edited those songs to like specifically like build and drop for when like the intervals went for the last race.
Yeah, that's intense. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's my own fault. But and then also I have this big list of like a note of like certain songs, like when the beat drops of like popular songs for some of the intros. So there's lots of examples. The song Bawa to Ba by Kid Rock?
No, I probably would if I heard it, but.
Yeah, it's like it like builds for like a minute and 20 seconds, then it goes boom. I like it's like a blasting. There's like the techno songs that drop and whatever. So then I'll look at when the beat drops, then you can slide the sound thing when you're mixing it or just manually on whatever you're using. So then if in a minute and 43 the timer starts for the 5-minute clock to hit, you can like slide it so a minute 43 away from your known beat drop point to hit.
Mm-hmm.
I do that all the time, but there's some people that pick it up as it's few. But it's one of those subconscious things where it adds to the environment, but you're not really aware that somebody is like sliding the seconds for the song to hit exactly when they want it to, when the clock starts.
It's like they'll walk away knowing it was a good experience, but they don't know why.
Yeah. But I just wish I could like clone myself because I can't do that at our bigger event. Or like we have an announcer and he's awesome, but I don't know if he would put in the time to like figure all that out.
Totally.
Because he's also like announcing the event. He's not just DJ.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's value in that kind of experience, and it's just a pretty cool ad, especially if you know what the workout is ahead of time. And there's just certain songs that are like epic to walk out to that are just like, I don't know how well you know certain songs, but there's
X gonna give it to you. That's my walkout song.
Oh, is it? That's pretty vulgar for somebody that was homeschooled. A lot of N-words in that.
Colt 45.
That's a vulgar song too.
Okay, so you've thought about second event, a few different ad things.
But I'm like, well, the Gauntlet's the Gauntlet. Like you can come out for 40 minutes or not. I would like to power clean at like if it's just a clean.
Totally.
And just
call it the Gauntlet and the lift off.
Yeah, the Gauntlet and then bonus event, no extra charge, the lift off. And you just check a box of registration whether you're in or not. And if there's only like 20 people,
Saturday Night Lights.
It's PR time. And then you could get a food truck there.
Is that a Saturday, that new date you picked?
Yeah.
Nice. I think that's a great idea.
And I wouldn't necessarily like handle medals and stuff for the lift off. It like you could do some fun incentives for PRs. You list your PRs at a time.
Give them a new pair of
DJ
shoes.
board, I have like the Mario sound, like you hit that every time somebody hits a PR.
Yeah.
Because I would love to get a PR in a clean.
Totally.
I'm sure if I was having a good day at a comp and you're not wrecked, the general alone will put up 20 pounds.
Totally.
So those are my main notes, but it wasn't really too critical of anything. And so I ran like an individual division, just thinking it's harder for kids to put things together for teammates. And there's only a few of them. So I ran those early and they had a little bit of a different gauntlet. And then there's the legend, or I have like a senior division, but again, there's just two of them, but they felt really proud of going through and that was great. But I think I'll just include them in as a teams of two division next year, and they can just do the kids teams of two rather than reinventing the wheel too much for them. And then so the classic, I have a teen and youth division for the first time, and they got two teen teams so far and one youth team. But like, even though I don't think there's still lots of time to register, we'll get a few more. It just needs to start somewhere. So if I need a full heat of 8, or I'm not doing it, it's stupid. I'll just do it small.
You'll just run it.
Yeah.
What is a full heat, 8 or 10?
Well, for me at the classic, it's 8 when we're at the island. And then depending on the workout layout, 6, 7, or 8, depending on what the implements I'm using at the gym.
Yeah, I wonder if you even just in the same heat ran like 4 on one side and 4 on the other side. And then you just have like a full heat for them, 4 teens, 4 youth or something like that.
Well, if it goes 4 and 4, that'd be great. We just need the kids to sign up. And but you got to start small. You got to be comfortable starting small, which I am.
You should go speak at a school and be like, look how cool I am.
Yeah. But there just this needs to be like this tipping point of like local word of mouth in a town like ours. Like kids sign up for taekwondo and judo and speed skating and swimming and gymnastics, which are all neat like Olympics individual sports, and some of them have a lot more history and structure to them. But like ultimate frisbee and these weird kind of sports that were made up, like skateboarding and tennis and stuff that not a lot of kids do, there's still like stuff there. So you just gotta make it a thing, which is why I want to. You can make it your own thing. You don't need to like wait for like the British Columbia Association of CrossFit needs to have this official thing. I just need to make it my own, and then I feel like I would just need one. You make it internally a cool thing, but you just need like one local, like in like a Kelowna or something for us, gym that had a similar kind of tipping point of kids, where if we both have like 10 to 20 kids into doing events, and you can like go and do a little event with like 25 to 30 of them.
Yeah.
The dynamic could be pretty cool. It just, I don't know. It's just not a thing that exists, but there's got to be something there. So I got to be the one to make it happen.
Totally. I think what's cool about it is that I think there's a lot of kids who have like kind of a unique skill set or just a unique body type or a unique muscle structure or whatever, where they just like haven't found something they're like really great at, or they're just something they don't love. And I just feel like there must be a few kids out there who are just like jacked, solid, built out of muscle, and maybe they found hockey or they found something else, but maybe they haven't. And they're just like looking for that sport where they can pick up some weight and like weightlifting and dumbbells and box jumps. And you know what I mean? Like that functional kind of fitness more. And I think that
there's definitely a handful of kids that, like Ireland and Kaya and Eric all joined my gym as teenagers.
Were they in a youth program at the time, or was it just like regular classes because they were in?
Well, Kaya had like done this little youth camp thing I did in the summer the one time, and she was like 15-ish. And Eric came with his mom, and then Ireland came with her mom, and then they were just kind of unique that they were really into it, liked it. But there wasn't like, if there was like, and we have a little handful of kids that are into it right now, but it's a small. But it just needs to get like, instead of like 4 to 7 of them, if there's like 15 to 20 of them. Think about like the swim club group I coached you in. You get like that little dynamic of that age of like kids that are boys and girls mixing and going to events and hanging out.
100%. Yeah.
But there just needs to be an infrastructure for it.
So have you changed some of like the levels and the structure of that, of how it's set up, or has that pretty much stayed the same?
Well, we have one scheduled for like 2 or 3 weeks from now to do like another version of it. So when I schedule like that, I don't have it done yet, but it's like, hey, like it's coming. It's time to evolve it. Well, that's how I got going the last time. It was coming, so.
Because I remember last time we spoke, it was from 9 to 17 or 9 to 19.
Oh, yeah, let me see.
Something like that. And then you had like 3 tiers.
7 to 19. 7 to 19, 4 tiers. And then the tiers are all under 9 and under, 12 and under, 15 and under, 19 and under. So if you're like a really like beginner kid that's like 17, super tiny, haven't touched a weight, you can do like the tier 1 tests that are built for young kids and use like a 10-pound dumbbell, whatever. But you can still get like your level on it. But like if like a 12-year-old wants to do like a max stats complex or whatever the strength test is for tier 4, they can't until you're 14 or 15 or whatever, have it at. So it like forces that development thing, but doesn't hold back like kids from that are in a high age group, like doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. And still, like an adult, like develop those elementary skills before they move along.
Totally.
But still celebrate your own scores and tests. I'm pretty confident with like the 3 tests that I created. I just wanted to lock in like for like the second highest age group, a fourth test, maybe the second lowest age group as well, the 4th one. And then the top age group, have them do 5 tests. It's just hard because you want to like make sure it's like a box checking thing. I'm like, hey, if they can like perform at a high level on these scores at all 5 things there and like max out the level 15 or whatever I have it as, it'd be pretty sick like CrossFit athlete if that's what you're shooting for. And so I don't want to have to be like where I make it all like, oh man, all these kids broke my test and I got to repoint it all because they made it too easy. And then these kids are level 15, but they're not that good.
So that's why you think you need a bit more like testing and just like kids going through it to just see like where that threshold
so I'm not going to be like, this is it for permanently. So if I make it, I'll be all right, tweak it again. I'll do that a few times and hopefully I can lock it in within a year.
Well, that's like, I mean, isn't that like swimming quals where it's like they take the average and then they only take the top 15% of who made it under that threshold or whatever? You know what I mean? Like it could be a constantly evolving thing.
Yeah, to change the times. The swimming events never change.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
So
like just change the like criteria
so
for it.
As long as the tests are like, hey, this is good, you could always change maybe the weight or how fast the score is and what it scores out as it evolves. Right. That'd be fine.
Yeah.
So what I've kind of tried to reverse engineer, I've pasted a bunch of them. There's like some age group semifinal workouts or online age group semifinal workouts for teenagers, like the CrossFit Games qualifying workouts or quarterfinals, because you can go look at the leaderboard and be like, okay, like what did the top 10, 20th place kid in the world get, and guys or girls at this age group? And that could be like, hey, like, even though it was only like 3 years ago, I'm looking at this age group semifinal workout. It's pretty relevant. And then my top tier time, if you're like a top 30 score from that year, it's pretty good. And then you can just like chisel it down on relatively reasonable jumps down in different levels.
Because what does CrossFit competition start at? 15, 16?
For the open, it's 14, 15, and then 16, 17.
Oh, okay. And then 18.
So a lot of people that are in like James Sprague and Hopper and like Emma Lawson all like competed as teens. Yeah. Which is cool.
Do you listen to their podcast much? The Boys Interrupted?
No, I think they're good dudes and likable. I don't have so much time to listen to stuff. I don't feel like I really learn or gain anything from them.
Yeah, that's fair. It is entertaining.
Yeah, no, they're definitely good personalities. For this next gen thing, so for example, like you just don't want to be too redundant with the test, right? So if it's like you are testing whatever, handstand push-ups, whatever, you wouldn't just do more of them. Or if you have like a bunch of pull-up tests at the higher level or bar muscle ups, you don't really need to have a ring muscle up test. But if you want to have a strength output for certain, like a squat or something, but then do you do like an Olympic lifting one? Or do you just have like almost a gated workout and then energy systems? But you don't want to have too long of workouts because you eventually have like 40 kids doing test day. And like the tier 4 kids have to do like 4 workouts, including like a 25-minute time cap mini high rocks thing. But there's ways you can be like, okay, like it's not complete, but it's a pretty good test of the 5 things on what I want the kids to work on.
Totally.
And then obviously you can fill in the blanks with your training, depending on what your group looks like.
I think it's smart though to have that kind of like cap where they can't test higher. But that's where I feel like it's similar to like a swimming kind of where, you know, you just do it over and over again until you beat your PR, right? And just like keep improving. It's not like you just do it once and you're like, oh, I got the best. It's like, well, no, just keep doing it. Like you could get your best, keep trying to get your best.
Like there's no like provincial qualifying time for like 10 and under 400 IM or something, right? Because it's like,
right.
We don't need to see 10-year-olds trying to do that time and take 8 minutes to do
There's
it.
going to be that one parent who's like,
but there's those cyborg kids that can easily crush that event.
Yeah.
But they can wait. If they want like a qualifying time or a provincial record, they can do it when they're 12. Maybe similar on that. And also, but same thing with any basic CrossFit workout. I mean, like the tier 2 test, for example, of like gymnastics capacity and skill test. It's like max wall walks in a minute rest, max single unders in a rest, max toes to bar. And then you get points based on the weight of each for that individual score. And then your points, we get say how many you get in that.
That's still hard. Like that would be hard for anybody.
So you can just do more. But just the same way as like 200 freestyle is hard for anybody, but you can just, or 200 freestyle is easy, but how fast can you do it? Or like, if 500 meter row for time, like that's an easy workout. No, it's not. Go as hard as you can on a 500 meter row. Doesn't matter who you are. You're just doing it faster.
Totally.
It's easy to complete, but it's not easy to do really well.
Yeah. We had a fun workout today. It was 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 back squat, and then into 15-minute AMRAP, 15-minute EMOM, a 15, 12 calorie row. Minute 2 was 3 hang squat cleans, and then minute rest. But it was like great. It's like a great push on the row, good strength on the lift, just enough time to like reset, chill, and get back to it. It was fun. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, I often do that similar with like if the skill is back squat, it's already kind of pre-warmed up and it's nice to go into a different kind of barbell in your
I find
quad.
Proven does that a lot. They do that.
I do
pretty frequently. Yeah. It makes sense though. I mean, like why would you do a lift one way and then go into a completely different WOD, you know?
Yeah, if you're doing like deadlifts as a skill and then your workout suddenly like push jerks and front squats, it's like they're not warmed up at all. You don't really have a timeline to like prep the movement at all. And then what are you going to do the next day when everything's already burnt out?
Well, yeah, that sounds sweet. I'm really excited to see how that still keeps evolving. And let me know how your meet goes or your test day goes in 3 weeks.
We call it the Next Gen Showcase.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Showcase.
So actually last time, every kid that came got a free shirt because eventually when I get this thing rolling, I want to have like either badges or whatever, maybe shirts of the colors of the level that you're at. Like, so if you get like I don't.
So other kids know where you're at.
Yeah, like a belt in Taekwondo. So if you get 9 points in the tier 2 tests, so you got like a 3, a 2, and 1, and a 1 or whatever, then you're orange because you have 9 points in tier 2. And then like all the way up, I have like a tentative one. Like the level 15 is black or something, platinum. So you get 20 points. So you max out 5 points in all 4 tests, or
Right.
sorry, 4 points in all 5 tests. So then you have this next gen shirt that's specifically colored in a way. So then they all got like just a basic gray one, like a neutral one for attending last time. They've been wearing it. So the kids that were doing the gauntlet were wearing that, which was cool.
That was cool.
Yeah.
It's the start. Isn't it crazy to think those kids who did the gauntlet was like Kaya and them, 10 years ago or whatever. And then in 10 years, they're going to be evolved into some level of fitness, hopefully, and maybe still
Yeah, they
hanging out.
stick with it.
Sweet.
But like, again, like Kaya and them were kind of anomalies. Like Kaya's parents never even came to the gym. She just kind of came as a teenager and stayed and got a job. Eric and Ireland, anomalies too, but their parents at least were coming, which kind of made more sense. It just, like swimming, it's just not really that fun of a sport, My whole life has revolved around swimming and gym stuff, but playing football or basketball, you play it. It's more fun. But there's something about like chasing swimming results and CrossFit results if you structure it the right way. We've had tons of kids in our youth program before. Partially, I think it was inflated by like a little COVID, like the COVID-ish time, maybe 21 too. There's like a ton of kids there, but I think a lot of the stuff wasn't happening as much.
Yeah.
But there still wasn't like, they like it, but then there's like, well, they don't value like just staying in shape when you're 13 or 11.
Well, I think
like
it's
we do.
tough too. Like in our kids' programs, teens, I think, goes twice a week. But if that's your sport, I feel like still twice a week is maybe not enough. I don't know. I guess I only like figure skated twice a week. We swam every day.
Swimming's
But
a different
it's like
beast though.
Yeah, but like I just wonder if, programs like that is if you're going to come and show up. Like think of like gymnastics kids, right? They're there every day, 4 days a week, 5 days a week.
Yeah, swimming and gymnastics are just too much though. But yeah, I think there definitely needs to be more than 2, especially because they're only an hour. So I have a system where as they age up, they're slowly allowed to do more of our adult classes.
They can come when they want.
They're like in grade 8 or something at like high school in BC. And they're turning 14, they're allowed to do engine. And then as they're approaching grade 10 or like 15 and a half or whatever, they can start doing 60. So some of these teens, like we actually had 3 teens go down to OBT this weekend.
Cool.
And there's 2 teen boys that are pretty into it. And they're probably in grade 10 or 11, but they do like 60 every day, but they do the teens on the teens day. So they come like 5 days a week.
Yeah, we have a few boys too, actually, that kind of aged up and have been in the gym for 4 or 5 years now. And they come to like our Saturday class and one comes to 5:30.
There's just not enough of them. There's only like 2 or 3. You need like the 10 to 15.
Yeah.
That's the sweet spot. It just becomes it becomes a group.
That's true.
But then if you get them go to the events, like this is like the whole, I'm not sure if this is the right word, but ethos of swimming. Swimming sucks. Like it's not that fun. You stare at the bottom of the pool and they have to like, your coach has to yell at you to get in the entire time because it's cold. But then there's something about the training. Especially when I was younger, I loved it until I had some kind of heartbreak stuff. But it was like, going to swim meets and creating memories. I know you were homeschooled largely.
Yeah.
But as a kid, you can remember like who your grade 3 teacher was, school, what class in the school you were, and probably who was in your class. Grade 4, and in high school, you can remember that each class that you have, who your teacher was, where you sat, and where your friends were, depending on how good your memory is. And then like it's much like swimming because it's so like age based. I have a pretty good memory for a lot of things, but I am freakishly good with remembering a lot of people's birthdays, or at least what month they're born in, because I always was well aware of when people aged up for sports, or the kids I coach when they had top year, bottom year, etc. So like I know your birthday's in September, but I forget the exact day. I just know the months very well.
It's the Earth, Wind, and Fire song. It's the 21st.
You can like index in your brain all these memories. I'm like, you can probably remember like the Tabor meet when you're 13, or like provincials, right? You can
definitely
go back.
Provincials. Yeah, for sure.
Some of them get a little bit muddy. I'm like, was that 13 or 14? But then you could probably like, if you went and looked at results, be like, okay, I was 14 because I was racing so-and-so. I only raced my top year, not my bottom year. But also not only that, but all the goofy stories and stuff, right? Like when you're like, oh, I remember that one time when like James Kwan broke the lamp in the bathroom or whatever, right? Like there's all these like dumb memories I was made up.
Yeah.
On interactions. And then there's just like these highlights of your life that you can know exactly where you were and how old you were.
Mm-hmm.
And then because the swimming gets, the practices get all like muddied into one season, but the going to events, because there's so much more extra social time in a different environment, your brain can index it differently on where you were and how you reflect on it. And that's why I like swimming so much and coaching it too, especially like goofing around with like Dwight and stuff, like cracking jokes all
Sweat
weekend.
City.
Yeah. Like that's part of the hanging out at swim meets, watching people you train go fast, but also all the stuff in between. It's a lot of hanging out, especially the kids. When you swim, then you hang out for like 4 hours, just flirting with boys or girls or whatever you guys ever do.
No,
I
I did not do that. That wasn't me.
But that's a big part of the interaction. So unique, but then because you're away and you get this experience, and that's like why I wanted to like qualify for like Westerns when I was younger, or like qualify for trials, or like be on the university team, because those are the opportunities when you go away. You can remember the first time you went to Toronto and swam in the pool. Remember the first time you ever were in Vancouver or Montreal, or all these random places that you would never otherwise go, that create a distinct memory because you're part of a sport. So when these kids are like, oh, if they could come to like Kamloops in June and come to the Classic and they've never been here before, and there's like 6 to 10 teenagers all that come from Edmonton and came and did it, it'd be like a huge like, oh man, I love this sport, I'm going to do that. And like, it'd be like a sticking point of a really fond memory, and how the sport would snowball rather than just like the mundane. I go to CrossFit twice a week. It's always different. It's kind of the same. And then on to the next thing.
So you're saying that community building in what you're trying to do is what is going to make it succeed, because it's going to be those memories that are built when kids travel and do that kind of
I'm using a very
experience.
Like personal lens, but I've reflected on probably more than anyone on like why swimming works the way it does, and like, there's a reason why I have like a group chat and go to weddings with people that I swam with, or people that I swam summer club with, or like people I still talk to. It just forges different types of memories when you enjoy sport together like that. But it's not really the swimming. It's like the social interactions with a sport that your face is in the water the entire time. Yeah. There's just so much hangout time when you go to meets, but they're like these events. And that's probably why I like events so much, or experiences, or traveling to like go see new stadiums and go to like the first time I ever go to XYZ NFL stadium, I can index that memory. And I know exactly like when it was the first time I was there. You go there like 10 times, it starts getting muddy, but the first time.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely remember like all the orca camps. That's what you called them, right? Like the summer camps?
Yeah, originally, yeah. Lethbridge Orca's performance camp.
Yeah, sorry. That was the one.
Later rebranded as Summit Swim Camps International.
All those I remember very distinctly. Orca Cup is what I meant to say. All those events I remember pretty distinctly, because those are like the fun times of swimming. But the other thing I was thinking of when you were talking is like, swimming is a pretty like structured sport in a way. Like, yes, I don't remember every single practice, but I would remember like who I was behind and what was my place in the lane, and like what your place is amongst the group of people. Because you have to kind of fall in an order. It can't just be like chaotic and random.
Yeah, but you wouldn't remember like, oh yeah, I remember on the third week on the Tuesday where the workout was.
No, I wouldn't.
But you remember like kind of like your general lane space and who was in your lane and what the practice
totally.
was like.
I remember the room,
or if you have a different coach.
We do the briefings. Yeah, like the room where we did the video briefings and stuff like that. You told us to be quiet. I remember the one time at that summer camp, I got recognized at the end of the week, and the trainer guy, the big buff dude, he called me sunglasses. Yeah, so there's all these memories that pop out, but you're right, not specifically to the practices itself, but just like the experiences around it. There is probably about, the 3 years I swam in college, there's probably like 5 workouts I can distinctly remember that were miserable, but I forget every other one.
It's still memorable.
Yeah.
It's like, if you just live a very like mundane day to day, there's no highlights. So if you have this like, what you've been up to, like, and people with kids have a lot of highlights because they can like, there's milestones on that. So they started walking, they went to the school, whatever, right? But it's important to have your own experiences too. So when you do these events, and when I run them, and this is part of why I justify doing them, because they're otherwise a complete waste of time financially and just emotionally. Yeah. It creates these memories like, oh, that you're like, Jer, because you partnered with him. So you can probably remember that, oh yeah, I did the classic one year with Jer. And if you did the classic 3 more times with 3 different partners, you'd have probably a pretty good memory of what each one was like. And and like if you ever see Jer when you come to Kamloops, it'd be a very easy person to talk to.
Yeah, he came and dropped in Leduc.
Yeah.
when he was here for that concert.
So it just creates those kind of relationships. So there's people like, from a retention standpoint, if they train for it, they train a little harder, they get that experience, but they also like make it probably a friend when you're grinding over CrossFit workouts for 2 days and practicing ahead of time. You can forge a different kind of relationship and create memories.
Yeah.
So I just know there's something there, just such a unique perspective on how I think people should view swimming and events and creating those things in their life for a highlight reel and like an index of memories.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, I think it creates more retention within membership and then hopefully growing a youth program.
Yeah, that's sweet. I think that's super unique that you're looking into like the physiology, what is it? But like the program setup and how it feels emotionally for kids and for adults, right? Like, yes, all these reasons why it works in swimming and why it would work with kids. But like you also touched on why it does work for adults, because I do think that once you get past that like high school sport, college sport, whatever adult sport you have, and it kind of fizzles out. I think a lot of people are searching for that like sport challenge, competition, something to make you feel good, community. And like CrossFit just checks a lot of those boxes, but to provide that like emotional experience as well, just like having something to yearn for. And like, how many people who went to their first competition in a year where they would like never even think of doing that. But it just, the environment that you create makes it so easy and approachable and attainable that it's like, yeah, you just show up, you try your best, you have something to work towards. And a lot of like, it's really surprising how many adults don't have that. So to look at it from both sides, from a unique perspective of a youth program to kids, for those kids who are like, aren't just going to see it as just cross training. I mean, maybe it is, but that they get really into it and they really like it. But also providing that from like an adult perspective too, which is what CrossFit is. But that's like the reason why I think it works so well with so many adults.
Yeah. And but really like not that many people compete from my gym though. It's like we have like hundreds of members, maybe 100 would compete, if less. So it's definitely a minority, but it still creates a little bit of a buzz and energy.
Even like the open, to like get people to sign up for the open. And that's like kind of a competition in a way. Maybe they'll never even look at it, but
it was like less than half of our membership, and then we had like one of the top ones in the world, right? Like we give free shirts and donation, and it's still like pulling teeth. I don't say it's for everybody because adults can still appreciate like going to the gym 3 times a week and like feeling good about their health and how their body feels. And that's enough. And they probably have everything going on in their life to create those memories. I still think it could be enhanced by other experiences. But the kids, you can't tell a kid like, oh, you have your cardio and your strength and whatever. Like they might like find it's fun, but there's like a point where like this,
it's like, what's the point? Yeah.
What's the point? Like swimming, Kamloops Swim Club here still has, I think it's called like Swim X or something. It was like a non-competitive swimming group.
Oh yeah, you told me that. I think.
Like fucking nightmare. And the kids were nice, but they just weren't into it. It's like mostly they're being forced to be there. Swimming sucks. Like an hour, like swimming back and forth with like no competitive aspirations. And it's not, and the competitive thing is not about trying to win something. It's just about being faster. They're just forced to be there. And I thought it like took away ultimately from the message of what the swim club should be going. Because if you have that non-competitive outlet, it's like, it's hard to make them included in anything. So automatically like it's, they're just not a part of what you're building ultimately. Or if they are, they're taking away from it, probably with attitude and how they see the sport.
Yeah. I was going to say is like, there's already some of those kids who get to that age and they're already complaining that like to go to a swim meet or, it's like so hard to keep them engaged in it.
Why are you wasting lane space?
We'll just go over there and you don't have to.
It's not making any real money. It's like wasting a coach's time. And it'd be like after all the other kids were done, they just like.
Was it popular? Like, was it full?
No. It was like a handful. I'm sure there's like a same kind of handful of kids just filling in the lanes for no reason. And if I was a head coach, I would axe that program so fast and be like, no, we're investing into the actual sport. This is what this is. And we're not apologizing for it. We're trying to be like, you want to go do like recreational swimming, go to public swim, go back and forth on your own. You want to get out. But you're here to get better. So, which is, I think now master swimming, even though it's not competitive, there's more value with adults valuing just still being part of the sport they grew up in, around others and being in shape. But that's not a youth experience. So I just think,
yeah, I get that.
That the youth kids is like, if they're harnessing it, like I'm training to be jacked and for my other sports, let's go. Otherwise, there should be a competitive outlet within it to get true passion around it. I think that's how I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just won't work, but it's worth a try.
No, I definitely see that. It's almost like a not learn to swim, but like It's like a
It's like
try, and I don't know. It's kind of like just, yeah, it takes away from it. I can see what
I
you mean.
want to quit the swim, or I want to quit swimming, but my parents make me come twice a week.
So I'm in the Swim X.
Yeah, lots of clubs, I think, with that kind of that non-competitive program. But for what?
Yeah, that's
It's not what it
interesting.
is. That's not what you signed up for. Maybe like
We did
would it
actually
be?
in Canmore. There was just a teens lane, and it was exactly that.
Yeah, it
I
sucks.
remember that. Yeah, and I remember I was
But like they were
coaching it,
part of the
and there
club.
was they're part of the club. It was a just teens swimming. One ex swimmer was in there because she had an injury and she didn't swim anymore, but she was swimming for fun. And I remember on 2 separate occasions, like there was 8 kids, all the way from like this ex competitive swimmer to like brand new, can hardly like stay afloat. And that was the range. Like I was teaching in this one lane. And I remember one night I came up, like the coach, I got some criticism, and they're like, "Hey, it's really hard. Like, you're going to have to dial it back. Like, we got word from this parent that like this one kid is struggling." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, no problem." And then I dialed it back. And then the ex competitive swimmer girl, her mom was like on the board. And then the very next practice, I got criticism. They're like, "You're making it way too easy. Like this kid, like this girl's not being challenged enough, and like you have to modify some things." And I'm like, "You literally gave me 2 opposite feedbacks. Like, where am I supposed to find the middle ground here?" Like, it was just not productive. So I can see what you mean.
Yeah, it's crap.
Well,
It's almost like, well, it's a disservice to the kids because like, what's the end game? You're not giving them an end game. Like, and they're 12.
yeah,
They don't want to know about long-term health. And I think it's just like the parallel would be like just having members in your gym that have bad attitudes. Like, oh, I downplay like trying hard. I don't like lifting. I hate burpees or whatever, just negative words. So I think if you like really sell like, hey, let's just get better at this thing, and then we'll go do fun events. So
hmm
it should be an easy sell. I've seen a few more kids.
yeah. So you said you're kind of trying to make it just word of mouth and getting people around, but what is there other strategies you're using, or like is there any
No,
previous kids who have done it before that like you can kind of rope in and be like, "Hey, you should really try this out. Like I think you're really great at it," or anything like
I
that.
don't know. I think it just needs to be kind of like you get that tipping point of like parents that have like kids the same age that are friends or something,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then they have a little success here and there. And they hear about, oh, that's fun, try it. They just get sucked in. That's how a lot of sports grow. Yeah,
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's exciting. Yeah, I think that's really cool. All the psychology behind it and everything. And I can't wait to talk again in a year and see where it's at and see if we have
yeah,
those 20 kids that are like pumped and like, and that gym in Kelowna who's like partnering with you and all that. I think that'd be sweet.
yeah. Even it has to be an internal thing. There's a way you can like there's martial arts studios that really just do things internally. I told
Hmm.
you about that one in Toronto that we worked at. And they just had like this like army of kids on a belt day. They were just like all lined up. And I don't think they went to like other gyms or like kickboards or whatever they were doing, or
True.
jujitsu wrestle, whatever it's called. They were just like there to like get better at it and get their belts and stuff. And they just had a good system. And, you know, the kids can learn a lot about discipline and all that stuff that martial arts does. I think you can learn a lot
Totally. Yeah.
about that with CrossFit, like grit and just positive attitudes and so that kind of stuff too, which I think parents would value.
If you have the right coach, you can.
Yeah. So we'll see. I just need like 15 kids, and we have like lots of kids on the roster, but then just not a lot of them that are like coming 2-3 times a week.
There's definitely 15 kids in Kamloops, so I'm sure you'll find them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's exciting. And I think very cool. Okay. Are you ready for another fix this gym scenario? Fix this gym. We need a musical segment for that. Okay. So you've been brought in to consult for a gym that is 5 years old. It's hit a plateau at 120 members. The owner is a phenomenal coach. Everyone loves them, but they are the only reason people stay. And because the owner is so high skill, the rest of the staff feels like B team backups. Members are constantly asking to switch out of classes if the owner isn't coaching. The owner is working 70 hours a week. They're burnt out. The business can't grow because it literally cannot exist without them on the floor. So, what is the first move you make to transfer that expert authority from the owner to the staff? And how do you convince the members that the system is better than the individual?
I think you'd have to probably do tandem coaching, like do an assistant coach role, and then probably do one coach at a time and bite the bullet for, okay, like you have 5 classes you're coaching. We're going to coach them together. I'm going to run them. You assist me, and then have like a 10 to 20 class plan on segueing on who the lead coach is, slowly taking over, pop out of that, hopefully ensure quality control, and then slowly work your way around the part-time staff to build them up, and sneakily, slowly, without really being able to notice, take your way out of the coaching schedule
Mm-hmm.
Not fully, but partially.
When I first read this, it seems a little bit of maybe micromanaging, or maybe just didn't hire and train your coaches to the standard that you want them to be at. So if you're already in that position, it's like you have to work backwards. But
Yeah. When I felt like that at times too, where it's like so many hours in the day. That was part of my issue with like part-time coaches is like they don't get enough reps in
mm-hmm.
to really hone their craft or relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just not as invested in the success of the business, even if they're great people,
Right.
because they don't pay their mortgage with what the gym gives them.
That's true.
But there's exceptions to that, certainly. But there's just certain people that would be tough to like train them because they're not maybe there enough to amp them up. So if they did a really good job on Monday, you gotta wait till the following Monday for them to like repeat what they did, and there's just not as much connectivity in their skill. Just much like if you're practicing double unders or something, and you do it once a week, usually, but you have a week off here and there.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to get really good at it unless you're really prioritizing it in your life.
Yeah. There's a follow-up to that if he answers quickly, we can ask Kent a few questions to keep it going. The vibe check, how do you measure if a coach is actually good or if they're likable? Do you have a measurement track for that?
No, that's tough. I think you could probably find things where it would suggest you send out a survey on all the coaches. Did they, and ask certain
That'd be
questions.
tough.
And then,
Yeah.
no, I know, because I'm like vicariously defensive of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's been times where I'm sure when I sent it out, if I looked at it honestly, I didn't want to know the truth about certain people that work for me.
Mm-hmm.
And, and
Yeah,
be
that
like,
could be
"Oh,
tough."
so that's the way to do it. I just would feel bad about like seeing it would hurt my own feelings based on my connection with people that work with me. I'm supportive of,
Mm-hmm.
and then it'd be worse to try to tell them. But that's probably like
True.
not a great business advice or a pretty soft side of me to say that out loud. If you're in like a sales role or something at some big company, that's probably more kosher to like put out a survey like that. But this double-edged sword of a community, it'd be tougher, I think, to do a good job with that. I don't know. I think it's just intuition. If you're a good people person as a leader, you should be able to sense whether they're likable or not.
Yeah.
And balance
I mean,
out
that's
running it,
it's an interesting thing, I think, with all sports is finding it's like the perfect balance between likable, good people person and pretty okay at the sport, right? Like knows what they're talking about. Because you can have somebody who's really great at the sport, not a people person. You can have a really great people person, not great or proficient at the sport.
But I'd rather have a people person.
Yeah.
I would take the people person 9 times out of 10. I'm sure there's
Because
some
then you can
exceptions, but if you
coach
get some,
those skills.
well, you can learn how to coach the skills, and you can be kind and use videos and use other people's examples, and if you're like some grumpy robot that knows a lot, I don't care. It's not going to build your business.
Yeah,
It's a
that's fair.
relationship-driven business is our number one core value at TCSC. It's at the top of the list for a reason. And the technical stuff is important, but a great technical coach, if they're in a bad mood or rude or mean or not friendly, doesn't matter what they say.
True. Makes sense. Well, that's a great answer. I'm curious to see more of these. Fix this gym as it comes up. I did think of one last idea of a send-off segment, and that is your nickname of the week. Do you have a nickname that you used in the last few days that stands out that you can explain a little backstory on?
Did I tell you about the cube?
Yeah, you told about the cube.
I haven't actually seen that kid in a little while.
Bodies by Bob, we've already covered. I guess you could explain mine.
Oh, no, here's one. There's a girl named Stella. She's in the swim club. And actually, she really likes CrossFit too. So she went down to OBT this weekend and won the teams event.
Wow.
You got a girl and then 2 boys that are pretty into it. But she's also like provincial level swimmer-ish, like 13. So she's kind of doing both. There's dry land with me now too. She's been doing the gym for a while. She has like some active rehab with Carly and sees like both Sarahs for massages. And she had the gym quite a bit. Anyways, in COVID year when I was still coaching, she was like in the little learn to swim program or like one of the like little groups. But COVID year, stupid, made up dumb rules of the millions of dumb rules that there were. We weren't like allowed to go to like the other side of the pool, like in the 50-meter bulkhead thing.
Yes.
So usually I'd be pretty good about learning a lot of the kids' names, but there's no swim meets or anything or like club interactions other than your own groups. So you didn't really get to chat to the kids that much. So I kind of remembered her before the COVID break, but I couldn't remember her name. And her name's Stella, and she had a friend named Sarah, and then we called her Siren. And wee hoo. And then I just thought Stella's name was Suitcase, or that's what I thought I heard. So I still call her Suitcase. So when she comes to the gym, like, Suitcase, because I used to yell that across the gym all the time, or
My God.
across the pool.
See, some of these I feel like you have to explain, but it's funny that there's a story for every one of them. That's funny. I like that. All right. Well, great chat. That was fun. Thanks for sharing about the Gauntlet and the next gen stuff and your expertise and knowledge. And yeah, we'll just chat to you next time.
Yeah. Thanks for setting all this up. Good job on the intro.
Thanks. Iron Ops out. Cutscene. Thanks for listening to this episode. This is Iron Operations, hosted by Amy Tipper and Kent Aitchison. Today's episode was edited and produced by the team at AT Design Studios. If you like the show, hit subscribe and come find us on Instagram at TCSC Camloops. We'll catch you on the next one. Class dismissed.